What is up, YouTube? Back again with another video. Today we're going to be making part 2 of that whole fiasco about the war plans that apparently Trump is saying that it didn't mean nothing, and he keeps on pointing the fingers towards the editor of Atlantic magazine, that it was his fault, he started all this. And yeah, it's becoming a big thing, and it is important to talk about and try to figure out who to blame, and we already know who to blame. We don't need to ask. We already know. So let's get into the video.
Oh, it is 10 Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. I'm Ana Cabrera reporting from New York, and we continue to follow the breaking news in Washington, where top intel officials are just about to be grilled on Capitol Hill with a remarkable Trump administration security lapse now in full view. Any moment, the director of national intelligence and the CIA director will appear before the House Intel Committee, and you can see everybody filing in right now, preparing for this question and answer session. This as the Atlantic journalist who was apparently led into an unsecure group text with Trump officials discussing plans for imminent airstrikes in Yemen is now putting it all out there. The administration claimed no war plans and no classified information were discussed in that chat. So journalist Jeffrey Goldberg just published the entire thread. In that conversation, key details were revealed by the defense secretary, telling the group in advance that the F-18 launch window would open at 12:15 Eastern, and providing the time a human target would be at a specific location. And then a short time later, identifying 14:15 Eastern as, quote, when the first bombs will definitely drop. The Atlantic putting these in context this way. As a case in point, Goldberg received information on the attacks 2 hours before the scheduled start of the bombing of Houthi positions. If this information, particularly the exact times that American aircraft were taking off for Yemen, had fallen into the wrong hands in that crucial 2-hour period, American pilots and other American personnel could have been exposed to even greater danger than they ordinarily would face. Now, Goldberg just addressed his decision to release these texts last hour on Morning Joe. Watch.
The administration is saying that there's nothing classified or secret or sensitive in these. So at a certain point, I just felt, you know, let our readers decide for themselves. Read these texts that I got sitting in my car on my phone in a Safeway parking lot 2 hours before the attack launched, and you tell me if this seems like good operational security.
Again, the hearing.
And he's not doing anything wrong. You know, you're saying it's not classified, well, then he's going to publish it anyway. So don't be calling him out, this and that, and saying that, you know, the whole messaging group conversation basically didn't mean anything. And he posts it, and next thing you know, he's getting his ass, you know, hated, you know, for what he did. Like, come on. There's nothing wrong with that. If he wants to post him, post him. Who gives a shit?
Hearing of the House Intelligence Committee expected to begin any moment. There's the chairman, Rep. Rick Crawford from Arkansas. It looks like he may be in his opening remarks. We're going to keep listening, and as soon as they address this situation, we will plug into that hearing. But right now, I want to go to Washington with NBC News White House correspondent Aaron Gilchrist and NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Julie Sirkin. Also with us, MSNBC national security and intel analyst, former CIA officer Mark Polymeropoulos, and national security lawyer Mark Zaid, founding legal partner of Whistleblower Aid. Aaron, is the White House still insisting these are not war plans?
Very much so, Anna, and we've seen this flurry of reactions, responses from different administration officials in the last few minutes to this new article from The Atlantic, where they lay out these details of what the administration has said is not classified information. We just saw a post from the vice president that said The Atlantic oversold what they had. There was another post from the national security advisor, Mike Waltz, where he says no locations, no sources and methods, no war plans. The White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt also said the Atlantic has conceded these were not war plans. She's making reference to, I think, the difference in the headline on the articles published, the one Monday versus the one today. Today's article says attack plans versus the words war plans in the article that was published on Monday. I want you to hear a little bit of Jeffrey Goldberg responding, in particular, I think, to what Caroline Leavitt said on X this morning.
Well, I mean, it's kind of rude. First, they invite me to their Signal chat, and then they call me names. That doesn't seem right. Yeah, and I've seen these. I mean, I get it. Mike Waltz is looking for the real killer. The story is the story.
Yeah.
March 11th, he reached out. March 13th, I'm added to the Houthi PC small group. March 15th, they announced to the small group before the attack occurs that the attack is occurring and what weapons they're using. And then I began the process of writing up what I thought was a story about a massive security breach at the highest levels of the United States government.
And so the White House really has been leaning into that the fact that the operation that was carried out, in their estimation, was a successful one, not so much into the controversy that's surrounding this sensitive information conversation that happened on Signal. One of the president's top advisors, Alina Habba, spoke to reporters just a few minutes ago outside the White House, where she called this story, this incident, a distraction. She said that she believes that this is something that they're making a big deal, a big to-do about nothing. And really, I think, Anna, leaning into what the White House narrative has been on this, that the story should be about the operation and not about this
Yeah, they're fucking downplaying it. And they're trying to beat behind the bush. They're trying to eliminate that one side of the story so they can focus on, oh, we did these attacks, you know, everything went good, you should be proud of us, we're doing the right thing. No, don't hide your goddamn mistake. You're hiding the mistake, and you're trying to lie, and you're trying to make this a bigger story than it is. You know? The guy that invited the editor on accident, he's the one to blame for. And then on top of that, blame the other guys that were in the text messaging, you know? Just have ownership. Don't be stupid.
Fiasco, as many on the Hill have called it, with the Signal conversation between these top advisors.
And again, we are looking live at pictures on Capitol Hill right now inside the hearing room for the House Intel Committee, about to have questions and answer session with the Director of National Intelligence, with the CIA Director, who were part of this group chat. I should note, as our producers are monitoring this hearing in real time, they did hear the chairman mention that yesterday the Senate hearing with this same group took a lot of time discussing this initial article published by The Atlantic involving this Signal chat, and he didn't want that to be a big part of their discussion today. He quickly pivoted to other concerns that he saw as far as worldwide threats. So that may be setting a tone for this hearing. Julie, what else are you hearing on the Hill? Is this going to change how lawmakers approach today's question with this new information that just dropped in The Atlantic this morning?
It'll probably inform the Democrats on the committee how they want to present their questions to these intelligence officials. But as you heard from the Republican chairman, Republicans, certainly in a public setting, don't want to spend much time on this issue. Remember, there are two sessions, the second being in a closed session. So we'll see, like if yesterday, whether this comes up today in that forum. But I did just ask the top Republican on the Senate Intelligence Committee, Tom Cotton, literally a few moments ago, about these new full text chats that were published by The Atlantic. I specifically asked Cotton whether Hexet, the Secretary of Defense, broke any laws in the defense policy. The classification policy clearly states online, you can read it for yourself, that any information, any military plan, specific timing, locations, personnel involved is classified as secret. Cotton responded to me using a similar phrase that we've heard from White House officials, calling Jeffrey Goldberg a partisan left-wing opponent of the president. And Cotton doesn't think that he needs to do anything further on this matter. But Democrats are singing a completely different tune. Here's Mark Warner, Cotton's Democratic counterpart on the intelligence panel earlier this morning. Watch.
11:44 a.m. Eastern that time. Weather is favorable. Just confirmed with CENTCOM we are a go for mission launch.
Classified.
Okay, next, 12:15 Eastern, F-18s launch, declaring this first strike package.
Obviously classified. If the bad guys knew, that would be harmful to the mission. Anybody who didn't realize or wouldn't put classified, if this was a test, you'd get a failing grade and you would not be admitted into, the intelligence community or the military.
I mean, it's right there. You're telling me that's not classified information. You're telling me it's all a bunch of bullshit, that it didn't mean anything with these conversations that you had on Signal app. I mean, it's all right there. I mean, there's really nothing to say. You just have to be stupid as fuck to think of that. All this information being, text is not classified.
Now, privately, behind the scenes, certainly Republicans, most of them agree with Democrats. This is clearly a big mistake that happened by the administration. They do want answers.
It even has the guy's damn face on it.
And to get to the bottom of this, but so far they're keeping a very public persona or game face on this, just saying that this is business as usual. Anna?
And guys, keep that graphic up there because Mark Polymeropoulos, just look at this. You have specific times, you have specific weapons, F-18s, drones, Tomahawks that are referenced in here. No information about specific targets from Goldberg, but when the bombs were expected to hit, are these war plans, and does any of this appear to be classified information to you?
It is absolutely classified, and if you actually look at the DNI, the Director of National Intelligence own classification guidance, I pulled it up. It's on page 36, section 343 on military planning. Any indications of advance warning of a U.S. attack is classified top secret. This is like looking out at a beautiful blue sky. The weather's gorgeous, and then someone saying the sky is not blue. I mean, this is as black and white as it can get. And perhaps, I don't know, one way to put it in perspective, if this was on the other foot, if I, as a CIA officer, had obtained information on an adversary on when they were going to attack, the timing, the 3 weapon systems involved, I would get an intelligence medal. I would get promoted. And so this is a gross violation of security practices. And what is pretty extraordinary is that the Republican side is making an argument that it's nothing. But I will tell you, the rank and file in DOD, the rank and file in the intelligence community absolutely know what this was, and their leadership and the reaction in terms of denying this is appalling.
Mark Zaid, we took a look at how the Pentagon defines what's classified. Now, the Pentagon uses the secret level classification for information that could disrupt foreign relations, impair national security policy, or that discloses significant military plans or intel operations. So if it turns out there was classified information in these texts, after Directors Gabbard and Ratcliffe said under oath yesterday there wasn't any, what happens to them?
In this climate, probably absolutely nothing. Maybe for history, something will happen. The governing executive order that has been in play since President Obama in 2009 issued it, President Trump or Biden, nor Biden ever reissued another one, makes it very clear that this would be classified. Reading what the initial article from Jeffrey Goldberg was made it pretty clear that this information would be classified, given who was discussing it and in advance.
Well, I think the main thing is here is people are gonna got to take accountability, and they have to. Whoever did this shit has to take, responsibility. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the next coming days. I'll try to report more on this story, see if there's anything out there new. But yeah, no, I'm really curious. And right now, it's not looking too good on that Trump administration. It does not, So don't forget to comment, subscribe. Try to follow, Twitch. I try to stream on there every day. See if I can get another video out today. Trying to do 2 a day. And I'll catch you guys later or into the next video. Peace.